There are moments on live morning television where the air in the studio seems to instantly thin out, leaving viewers watching at home breathless. We are used to morning broadcasts moving along at a rapid pace, flashing through breaking headlines, witty presenter banter, and quick commercial breaks. But every so often, a broadcast comes to a complete standstill, paralyzed by a wave of raw, unfiltered human emotion. That was precisely what happened when the conversation on Good Morning Britain turned toward a deeply emotional cancer update, culminating in an overwhelming moment involving Shawn Wallace that left fans completely devastated and weeping alongside him. For years, British audiences have known Shawn Wallace as the Dark Destroyer on the chase. He is a man defined in the public consciousness by his formidable intellect, razor-sharp focus, and unflappable, almost intimidating composure. Whether he is dissecting complex legal arguments as a barrister or shutting down contestants on primetime television, his public persona has always been a fortress of strength. But when you strip away the studio lighting and the theatrical bravado of an evening quiz show, live television has a way of exposing the tender, fragile truth beneath the surface. Watching the segment unfold on Good Morning Britain, it almost felt as if time itself had slowed down. The transition from casual morning news into such a profoundly personal health discussion was marked by a sudden, heavy drop in tone. As Shaun began to reflect on the devastating impact of a relentless cancer journey, sharing the private heartache, the crushing uncertainty, and the emotional toll exacted on loved ones, the familiar television armor simply disintegrated. The moment he paused, visibly fighting back a surge of tears before the emotions completely overtook him, the entire atmosphere of the set underwent a seismic shift. It was not just the words being spoken that shattered the audience at home, it was the sheer intensity of the silence that followed. In live broadcasting, silence is usually treated like an enemy, something producers try frantically to fill with voiceovers or smooth segues. Yet in this instance, the stillness inside the studio was deafening. You could see the subtle shift in his eyes, the slight tremble in his voice, and the painful effort it took to articulate feelings that were clearly too big for simple words. It became instantly obvious to everyone watching why those tears simply couldn't stop flowing. The reaction from the Good Morning Britain presenters in that exact moment was a masterclass in quiet empathy. Rather than rushing to hand over a tissue or steering the conversation back toward a scripted cue card, they simply sat back and let the moment breathe. Many viewers online noticed the subtle change in body language across the main desk, the gentle lean forward, the solemn eye contact, and the uncharacteristic lack of interjection. There was an unspoken understanding that what was happening on screen was no longer an entertainment interview. It was a sacred, vulnerable space where a public figure was laying bare his deepest pain. Within seconds of the scene airing, social media was inundated with a flood of emotional reactions. Thousands of viewers began turning to platforms online to share their profound shock and sympathy. For so many people sitting at home with their morning cup of tea, seeing someone so consistently stoic reduced to tears by the brutal reality of cancer struck a deeply sensitive nerve. Cancer is an illness that spares no one, indifferent to fame or success. Seeing that shared vulnerability brought the harsh reality of health struggles crashing right into living rooms across the nation. What made this segment so painfully memorable was the sheer authenticity of it. In an era dominated by carefully curated public relations and rehearsed statements, genuine human tears on live television cut straight through the noise. Some viewers interpreted the moment as a powerful breaking point, a rare glimpse into the quiet, lonely battles that take place behind closed doors long after the studio cameras are powered off. It served as a stark reminder that behind every famous face on our screens, there is a person carrying heavy emotional weight, navigating personal grief, and waiting nervously on medical updates just like the rest of us. There was also something deeply meaningful about watching a prominent British male figure express such uninhibited grief on national television. For generations, men in the public eye have been subtly conditioned to keep their emotions locked away behind a mask of stoic resilience. But seeing someone of Shawn Wallace's stature openly weep while discussing the overwhelming burden of cancer sent a quiet, powerful message across the country. It normalized the emotional exhaustion that accompanies long health battles, reassuring viewers at home that it is entirely okay to crumble and cry when life hurts this much. As the interview drew to a close, you could still feel the lingering weight of the discussion hanging over the set. The presenters handled the wind down with incredible delicacy, ensuring that the transition into the rest of the morning lineup was soft and respectful. But the impact was already made. The audience was left visibly moved, reflecting on their own families, their own health scares, and the incredible fragility of the lives we take for granted every single day. Perhaps what stayed with viewers long after the broadcast ended was not just the devastating updates, but the profound sense of unity it created among everyone watching. In those few unscripted minutes, the barrier between television's star and home audience completely dissolved. We were no longer watching a famous guest on a sofa, we were bearing witness to a human heart breaking open on live television, reminding us all of the power of genuine empathy and shared sorrow. Moments like this stick with us because they reflect our own fears, our own losses, and our collective hope for recovery. Did you happen to see this heartbreaking moment air live on Good Morning Britain? And did it leave you feeling just as emotionally drained as the rest of the nation? What were your immediate thoughts as you watched the studio fall silent? Take a moment to share your reflections and messages in the comments section below, and let us know how that emotional broadcast impacted you.